our Facebook account and YouTube account, Ssbc official. You could also watch. And this is the team of also the team that has just arrived at Freedom Hall. These are the teams from the prosecution. I mean, these are the team from the prosecution team, as you could see them arriving to take also their seat. These are the team from the prosecution panel who happen to be part and parcel of this event. You could see them shaking hands, and a number of them. Plus also we have some members from the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs. These are actually people who happen to be supporting this process to ensure it went on successful. The next thing is that viewers, to remind you that last week, of course, the prosecution team submitted a strong point defending their ground based on the objections of the defense team, saying the court is not actually legal, the court is not based on jurisdiction, among others, but the team from the prosecution side submitted a report accepting or telling the people that they are actually ready, and they are optimistic that, and also committed that this court, this special court, is the right place where the accused are supposed to be tried. This shows that, of course, this shows the credibility, fairness, and shows openness and also impartiality of the court proceeding, has always been said by a number of times by the judicial or by the juries headed by Dr. James Deng Alala. And then we have Stephen Simon, Justice Isaac Paul Majak, among others. The prosecution team, of course, last week, they have all get together, and then that's what happened. Today, the presiding over judge will be able to determine, they will pass judgment on the next move of the process. Of course, this is a judiciary on trial process, which determines the established special court, whether it is competent according to what the defense team are saying, but then the also prosecution team say it is confidence. With that, viewers, continue to stay tuned, and we're going to relay to Freedom Hall, and then let's get to hear what's happening down on the ground, as our reporters are also there. We have a number of them. As you could see, both the prosecution team and defense team are already on the ground. Let's have a few intake from what is happening at the courtroom at Freedom Hall.
first Vice President of the Republic of South Sudan, Dr. Riek Machar, who is fifth according to the order of the accused. As you witness in the hall, both the prosecution team, and the defense team, all the 8 accused, have arrived, and they're all within the premises, and the hall seems to be packed, and it seems to be calm, and waiting for the presiding judges to arrive, and then we'll continue giving you more update. Just a brief summary before I give to my colleagues of the court proceeding. This high-profile case has great national attention and is being closely followed not only in South Sudan, but across the region and the international community. Before we bring you today's developments, let's briefly recap on what happened from day 1 to day 3. Just a reminder for those who could have missed the beginning of the session. On day 1, the defense team challenged the constitutionality of the trial, arguing that Dr. Riek Machar enjoys immunity under the revitalized peace agreement. The prosecution, however, countered that the gravity of the charge included treason, terrorism, murder, and crimes against humanity, necessitated that the case proceed. On day 2, the defense further insisted that the special court lacked jurisdiction, and the prosecution and the prosecuting senior official must strictly follow provisions of the peace agreement, and the prosecution team argued that the trial is based on Chapter 5 of the Penal Code of 2008, and we'll be bringing you more detail as the court proceeds. Let's now just take a closer look at what happened in the courtroom on Wednesday during the 3rd session. The court proceeding began with a formal attendance of both the prosecution teams alongside the accused. Midway, the prosecution raised an objection against 2 defense lawyers, that is Wurunyang Kirunyang and Deng John Deng, arguing that the legal license had expired. Representing the prosecution, Dr. Sabirwani Ladu requested that the 2 lawyers be disqualified under the Advocate Acts of 2013. I'll be handing over to my colleague Martin Jose for more analysis of what is currently taking place in the courtroom.
Yeah, thank you so much, Leila Osman. All right, welcome back to Freedom Hall. It is Monday, 29 September 2025, and the high-profile trial of 8 senior SPLM-IO members resumes in the capital, Juba. Among the accused is a Port Kangchual who stands as a prime suspect in the case. The defendants face serious charges including terrorism, conspiracy, and multiple counts of murder, all brought under the 2008 Penal Court Act. This marks the 4th court session in what is already being described as the most significant legal proceeding since independence of the country. Last week's session saw the prosecution shift focus from the core charges to challenge the composition of the defense legal team. In a heated submission, the prosecution objected to the participation of the 2 unlicensed advocates, arguing their presence violates the Advocates Act of 2013, which mandates formal registration before any legal practice in court. The prosecution asked the court to expel the 2 individuals from entering the courtroom, urging their inclusion undermines the integrity and legality of the proceedings. The move sparked a flurry of written submissions from both sides, prompting the court to adjourn until today, Monday, 29 September 2025, allowing time for the judges to carefully study the arguments before delivering a ruling on the matter. Now the court reconvenes. All eyes turn to the panel of judges who are expected to address the procedural objections before any further progress can be made on the substantial charges. The courtroom is filled to the brim with high-ranking SPLM-IO officials, international and national observers, legal scholars, and curious citizens packed into the gallery. Packing into the gallery, the weight of the moment is palpable, not just for the fate of the accused, but the credibility of the country's legal system and its journey towards justice and the rule of law. With proceedings underway, all attention is on the bench. Will the court uphold the objections raised by the prosecution, or will it allow the defense team to proceed in full formation? Stay with us as we continue to bring you live detailed commentary from inside the court on this historic case. I would like to hand over the microphone to my colleague Martin Justin Kose to brief you on these proceedings.
Thank you very much, Matiang Joseph Lail Osman, Peter Murray James from Freedom Hall. Thank you very much. نعم سيداتي وسادتي صباح الخير، صباح جميل